All right, black-white aristocrats. For those not familiar with the Magic jargon, aristocrats tends to refer to decks that sacrifice their own creatures for value. In standard aristocrat-style decks tend to be headlined by Priest of the Forgotten Gods and Woe Strider here. This particular deck that we are playing today was a build-around request for an Aristocrats deck featuring Mothra / Luminous Broodmoth here. Thanks for the 1.5 year, Lebo. I appreciate the tier 2. Welcome back. So, Mothra here says, when a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield with a flying counter on it. As for other new cards in this deck, I've also got a few copies of Lurish Dream Den here. So while this could be a companion, so you could play this in the companion slot if each permanent in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less, I think this card is also just very playable as a main deckable card, as we see here. I think this card's going to be excellent in larger formats like Historic, likely in a deck like Kisa's Combo as well. But I think Lurish is very good here. Lets us cast a permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from our graveyard. We've got a bunch of great copies of those. Another card from the new set I've got a couple copies of in here that I wouldn't be surprised if we cut this card after a few games. I want to give it a try, but I think the power level on this card is a little bit low here. So Fiend Artisan gets 1/1 for each creature card in your graveyard, and then you can sacrifice another creature to go get a creature out of your library. So a little bit of utility, probably a good chance this is going to die a lot. 80s rocker, thanks for the 12 months. When we're new in a standard format, I like to try as many new things as possible. It seemed like they might fit in just so we can get a feel for what they look like. Something that was brought by someone prior was the possibility of replacing Disfigure with Dead Weight to recur with Lurish. Nah, I don't think that's super relevant. I think I'd rather have the instant speed on Disfigure. Like, if you're keeping Lurish in play against an aggro deck, you're probably winning because it's a 3/2 with lifelink. JD0M, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hooglandia. If you're someone out there who's playing a bunch of Arena and you're enjoying this new standard format and you want to take part in one of the first large standard events of the season, we are having our next Hooglandia Open on April 25th. It will be a double elimination standard tournament that is free to enter for all of my Twitch subscribers. It's going to cap at 256 players. The only requirement, in addition to being subbed to the channel, is that you have to be able and willing to broadcast your matches via the screen share service on Discord so we can provide coverage of the tournament. If you didn't see our first Hooglandia Open that happened this past weekend that was historic, it was quite excellent. Really happy with how the coverage ended up turning out. You can find the coverage of that past event on my website, my YouTube channel. Andre, thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. Is there an easy way to test your ability? Yes, you can join one of the open voice channels on the Hooglandia Discord server or any Discord server and just use the Go Live feature once joining them to test if your hardware is capable of doing it. I think I'm okay with this exchange here. Like, Infuriate's a little annoying, but like getting that trade for the Gutterbones seems fine for us. I'm going to go ahead and lead on Midnight Reaper here, because I really don't mind if this dies in this matchup. Just trade it off early for a creature or card to life. Bernie Sanders tweeting about TCG players, warehouse workers trying to unionize is a surreal feeling. Yep. Meh. Annex here, likely going to beat us up. If there's a Cleave in our future, we're probably just dead here. Alright, I assume we're about to get crushed here. I'm gonna block like they don't have it, because if they have it, we're dead. All of the new cards are available on Stream Decker. That's the deck list overlay. The mouse over overlay is going to be missing the new cards until they get added. So you have Heliod's Intervention and some Disfigures and some Heartless Axe as cheap interaction to bring in here. Midnight Reapers, pretty bad because we don't want to be losing life. Fiend Artisan's just a really weak, slow effect in a matchup like this. It's not going to be great. I think the stat line on Broodmoth, as well as its ability to bring back our other creatures, seems rather useful here. Need one cut here. So again, Stream Decker and Deckmaster are different. The thing that's not updated is the thing that we talked about forking last time, but with everything that's happened with COVID-19, I've not had the bandwidth to get that fork put up. Trying to keep a streaming schedule maintained while also doing homeschooling stuff with the kids is just a lot. All my extra time basically dissolved. Nice, Mega. Yeah, the red-green Luca deck that we're going to play later today is a... seems sweet. I'm planning on forking it. So, I've got one of these subs cleaned up the code a little bit and changed some of the verbiage on it and sent me a tarball that I need to upload to GitHub at some point. So I have the base of it, but like I have to like take the time to get it set up on my server and like submit it through the Twitch process for submitting extensions, and all of that's going to take time to get figured out. I just haven't had the extra time. Well, I mean, obviously it must not have worked, right? Because, like, we don't have all the cards for this set on there. Like, there's a card missing in my hand right now, so obviously it's not auto-updating. Mostly running out of gas here at this point. This is part of the problem with decks like what we're currently trying to do is that they tend to have individually weak cards in them. So when our opponent has interaction like this opponent has had to kill our key cards, our leftovers are kind of bad a lot of the time. So when we get 1-for-1 to bunch, it's hard to keep up. I think Heartless Act is probably really good. I kind of expect Heartless Act to see play in Magic's non-rotating formats too. Just because it's probably the best 2-mana block removal spell. Like things like Cast Down and stuff like that I've seen play in the past, and I think this is probably better than Cast Down on average. And things like Modern and Pioneer. Yeah, and in Modern specifically, it misses some things in, like, the Humans archetype. Alright, just a pile of 2-power attackers gonna close this out, huh? think I'm happy with how I boarded. Maybe I want this Tithe Taker. Part of the reason we won that game was because we had a slew of Tithe Takers. I'm going to put the Tithe Taker and I'm going to trim a Knight of the Ebon Legion. I know this card's really resource efficient, but we probably don't have mana to pump into it. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Zero Gamer. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Only $5. That's the cheapest ticket I've ever paid to see Godzilla. Is there a trick to play right now? Not that I'm aware of, Nemesis. I just hit the play button. Make sure your deck is legal. Make sure it's not... Make sure if you imported a deck with less than 60 cards, it's set to standard and not limited. When I imported this deck while it was missing... I was missing like 6 cards wouldn't import from Magic or from Goldfish for me. And I imported like a 55 card deck and it set the deck type to limited. Probably a misclick, Mr. Brightside. I don't really have strong feelings about the artwork of cards. I'm going to play Priest of the Forgotten Gods here. This requires a removal spell. The Tithe Taker can't block the champion because of his first strike. Wow, that was a great draw. Okay, so I get to do this, and I get to do this into this, and to activate this, sack these. And then I get to play this. Priest of the Forgotten Gods is a really good card when she gets going, huh? Yep, next turn we could, like, play Luris and, like, recast the Gutterbones. Yep. Alright, when they don't kill our Priest, our deck's really good. Haven't seen our Moth yet. From super early impressions, what do you think are the most dominant decks in Standard are going to be? Listen, if you want a hot take stream, I'd recommend changing the channel. This is a channel about realism. We take our time and learn the facts. Stick to the data. Hot takes are lazy. The golden rule of thumb is all the decks that were good last season are still good until proven otherwise. How will you be a pundit now? I would make a terrible Republican. But I'd make a terrible Republican for a lot of reasons other than just not giving baseless hot takes. Mono blue, eh? There are non-terrible Republicans. No, I would be bad at being one. You like syrup with your hot takes? Kidding. Here's my hot take. Getting Brazen Borrower, Tefrid, and Aether Gust still feels bad as it always did. Still not great, chat. Still not great. Am I planning on going long today? I mean, as long as I'm able to sit here and log in, we're going to hang out and play. It depends on what the viewer count looks like. I plan to go till at least 4 or 5 o'clock today. And if we stay above 2,000 people, I'm going to stay live. If we stay above 2,000 viewers today, I will be live until 10 o'clock tonight. That is my plan. If we drop below that, I'll probably just do 8 hours or so and call it a day. I will be back tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, regardless of how long we stream today. Yeah, our draws have not been stellar. Really needed a land. That is cornfield time. It is currently 12:30. So I'm going to go for at least another 4.5 hours. If we have a good viewer count, I'm going to go for another 10 hours. It's hard to predict, too, though, because, like, I don't normally stream in the evenings. So usually my count's lower in the evenings. Until end of turn, target creature becomes a blue serpent with base toughness 4 and 4. That's a really cute trick. Alright, so this looks like another matchup where I just want a bunch of my removal spells. Heartless Act and Disfigure seem really good. They're not actually killing my stuff, and this doesn't have an effect when it comes into play, so Midnight Reaper seems pretty bad. Fiend Artisan is pretty slow as well. I think I'm just going to bring in one Sorin as a way to get a hit in for lifelink seems reasonable. Tithe Taker is probably going to be one of our better cards in a matchup like this. That's a good question. It'll be interesting getting data out of Arena right away because Channel Fireball is running... Channel Fireball is still running their qualifier events, right? Is Channel Fireball going to have a tournament this Saturday? I know they don't really have great coverage for their tournaments, but they'll still be running an event that we can get deck lists from, right? Is that true, or are they taking release week off? They paused them? Really? That's got to be a joke, right? Oh, they're just taking this week off. Okay, they'll be back next week. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, for 2 days seems reasonable. I guess I'm just putting another priest into play here, just so I'm most likely to untap with one of these. Missing our third land drop again here hurts a lot. I'm going to not attack in here because I'd like to not run into a flash creature. Yeah, it should be pinned in the subs Discord, Magic Arena channel, Mari. We did beat Mono Red. Yeah, should be pinned in the subs Discord. Get got. Tails end your trigger. Yep. Youch. That was definitely not one on my radar. Alright, Grafdigger's Cage. So this actually does not stop Gutterbones, because Gutterbones returns from my graveyard to my hand. It does stop Luris, though. Yep. And we're just a little bit too far behind here with the double unsummon, double cutthroat. We missed our third land on 3. Just too much tempo loss. I mean, Heartless Act still would have been fine there. Taking 3 counters off their thing would have been plenty. Everything just kind of lined up there for them. We missed our land drop. They got to use all of their mana every single turn for the first 4 or 5 turns there. That's how it goes sometimes. Good start for us here on the play. Get to go land, 1 drop, tapped land, 1 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop ideally. Yeah, the Stifle cost us a lot of tempo. We gave up 2 of our things, hoping to get something out of them, and then getting nothing was pretty brutal. I think I'm just hitting with this. I'm gonna lean on the Priest, even though it's not super resource efficient. Getting Priest active ASAP has a lot of payoff. I think I do this to start, because it lets me get value right away. Luris looking excellent here again. I think this is a card that we'll see play both as a companion in larger formats, but also as just like a card like this in formats like Standard. This does a lot of what we're interested in doing here. In Death Shadow. Yeah, maybe there's a... Giving up Gurmag Angler seems like a big deal in that deck. Seems like maybe a little bit of a mistake here on the opponent's part. They could have killed Luris on their turn, denying us the ability to get Priest of the Forgotten Gods back. And I actually played the Priest out pre-combat there, just in case my opponent was making a mistake like that. In case they had a removal spell and were waiting to play it for some reason. Does Broodmoth work against sweepers? It does. It does. So when all of your board dies, all your cards see each other die. So if they play like Kaya's Wrath or something like that while you have this out, the rest of all your non-flying creatures come back. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, to be fair, the non-altar art version of this card, Luminous Broodmoth, is not a specifically named card. Wait, I'm not getting the animation because of the alt art? That's stupid. That's gotta be a bug, right? That's gotta be a bug. I feel like if that's not a bug, it should be treated as one. This might be a little aggressive. I don't know. I like drawing 3 cards. We find some bugs while playing the moth card. Ugh. So close and so far away. Oh, they don't have any more blue mana. That bodes well for our hero. Alright, so Conquer's Death sounds great against the Uro Cavalier deck. Agonizing Remorse sounds reasonable. What do I want to trim here? Yeah, it's probably Fiend. They do have sweepers in their deck. Do sweepers make like Knight of the Ebon Legion worse? Perhaps. Pull up a little bit, especially on the draw. That seems fine. Ooh, that's interesting. So, Allie commenting, this is something that's gonna take retraining my brain a little bit. Allie Andrazi on Twitter pointed out that our main deck is all creatures. So we could technically free roll the Ooze as a companion at least game 1, and then potentially sideboard out of it if we still want the non-creatures in the board. That's probably not unreasonable. Rethinking which decks get to play which companions because they're close, or like this is almost there, so we want to like massage it a little bit. It's gonna take some adjusting, I think, for me. How do you get the alt arts? By buying things. Put this into place, so we have to have the sweeper, we get to gas back up. Chat's extra fast today. I believe, chat, that someone in chat recommended that earlier, but I also missed it. Chat's moving at twice as quick as it normally does. Things are gonna get missed. It's just the reality of it. Especially at the start of a deck. Especially at the start of a deck on a day like today where I wasn't able to import all of my decks in advance. So I'm extra distracted at the start because I'm trying to, like, fumble decks together into the deck editor to start.
My arm is smelly, but effective.
What is Dawnwaker Priest? As always, if you're wondering what are the upcoming decks here on my channel, you can go into the deck queue on my website. I think I want to just get Mama Moth down. So we can pressure their Planeswalker here.
You'll pay for that.
What's going on, Draven? To set a low bar, I don't know that that card really gives Pioneer Elves that much oomph. Rough. Does Mothra work with tokens? It technically triggers, I believe, but it doesn't bring them back because tokens are exiled. Yeah, technically a trigger goes on the stack, but the trigger doesn't accomplish anything. You know, I'm actually just going to start attacking them. If I can get them to a point where drawing a Woe Strider is lethal, that would be ideal. Could we drain them out? How? How do I drain them out? If we find something like a Woe Strider, then yes. But as for the current board state, no.
Waste not, want not.
I mean, even though they're going to go up to 19 here, potentially, it looks like. No, they don't have enough cards in their bin yet. Sure. So they're at 16, so Woe Strider's still lethal, right? Hey, that's a good one. So we both draw 3 cards here. They also lose a ton of life. Hey, Happy Slice, thanks for the Beza Bucks. I appreciate the half of your support. Welcome back. I have some triggers. I get some tokens here. Hey, MTG Edge. Thank you for the brand new Tier 1 sub. Welcome to Oglandia. Okay. Well, they get to Voracious plus Uro next turn. Oh, they're still 1 card short of Uro, right? Sick. Hey, thanks, Early Burly. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Hopefully these Cruel Celebrants can drag us kicking and screaming over this finish line. Fat Sano, thanks for the 2 months. Along with these Spirit tokens. Yes, yeah, the Exile and Agonizing Remorse is just surprisingly relevant. Okay. Yeah, Woe Strider is still very lethal for sure. We could see Hydra come down. Oh, that lets them escape Uro. Okay, they're still dead to Woe Strider though, right? Do I plan to do drafts? No. No, the lack of people drafting isn't why I don't draft on Magic Arena. In fact, speaking as someone who doesn't play limited, I prefer bot drafting to player drafting. Bot drafting is infinitely more convenient. Not having to wait for humans, being able to pause and walk away, not having to wait for a queue to fill. Yeah, in general, I just don't like limited, but I also think I prefer bot drafting to not. I am not one of the people that's been waiting for player drafts. Yeah, that's what people are talking about. They added player drafts. I prefer async bot drafting. Don't you want them to ult Liliana? No. No, I don't think so. If I let them ult Liliana and they have a removal spell, they might be able to get out of it. So they're dead. Right? Okay, good chat. Good chat. Triggers. Good solid rituals sit there. Pew 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 pew. I mean, maybe they were just dead regardless, right? You never know. Quite the ritual. Easy mulligan. Oh, I forgot to put the companion in the deck. We're going to put the companion in. Whatevs. I'll make a note to do it after this match. Mono red. That's a sick animation. Alright, I don't know if this card's playable, but I'm happy we got to experience that together, chat. Very, very pleased. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's so much uglier than I had realized, and I love it. That's great. Well, they get to Embercleave us, and then without any spells, we're probably dead here. Really? Okay, so this means they have another Embercleave in their hand, right? Is what this means. Oh, they were short of mana. You're right. You're right. I was thinking it was 5. You're right. It was only 4. They were definitely short of mana. They're not short of mana this turn. They still have another one. We're not new, chat. They still have the other one. Hey, that's how I boarded last time. Let's run it back. Cleave's been a companion this whole time. Again, important to remember, while Ikiora has a ton of sweet cards and designs in it, this is a 7th set being introduced to an established standard format. All of the cards that were good last season are still good until proven otherwise. The deck building restrictions on Cleave are basically non-existent. If your deck attacks with creatures and makes red mana, you should probably be playing Embercleave. What about the decks that were bad before? Are they good now? Most of them are still bad. Some of them might get improvements. Like, honestly, the best place to start brewing in a format like this is to start with the decks that were close to being good enough but came up a little bit short last season and look for new cards that slot into those. Blue-Red Flash, for example, I think is a deck that stands to be a lot better this season because it got some reasonable new cards. And that deck was close to good enough last season. It, like, put up some results but then fell off as other things got optimized. No, I'd expect the Great Henge is still just as bad. Still just bad Embercleave.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Jacob. What's up, dude?
I just see you.
You wanna just see me? That's fine. Come say hello. You know you're my favorite 6-year-old?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just gave a little bit water.
You want some water? Alright, only because I love you. He knows I got the hookup, chat. No blocks here since Torbrand would let them trade with my Mothra. Priest sounds reasonable to keep here. We have to go ahead and put Cruel Celebrant into play, and I have Heartless Act to kill the Torbrand next turn, which is nice. Are you shy? No, you're just funny. You're very silly, aren't you?
Boy.
I think we're probably dead here. You can play in my chair if you want. Yeah, let's go ahead and back it in. Let's add the companion to our sideboard or to our main deck. Probably get rid of these 2-drops that kind of suck. So our main deck is all creatures anyways. So what is it? We want a collector as our companion. Seems good. Yes, Jacob. What's what? That is the chair to Daddy's... A new arm for Dad's chair that needs to put on at some point.
Oh.
What do we think of some Murderous Riders? Does that seem reasonable? It gives us a little bit of removal. Like just a touch. This is a creature that works with the collector. But I like to hedge. Seems reasonable. Do I want to adjust the sideboard at all to try and keep this post board in some matches? So you can have non-creature spells in your sideboard, but if you board them in, you lose access to this. So like, for example, rather than having Heartless Axe and Disfigures, but I'd rather have other anti-aggro cards in my sideboard potentially. I feel like losing this against control is probably fine to bring in Agonizing Remorse, but I feel like against aggro, I'd like to try and keep access to it, because like 4/5's pretty good there. So like put the 4th Rider. Enforcer. I like the idea of Enforcer. That doesn't seem awful. Your starting deck with regard to companions is the deck you start with each game. Again, if you have not watched the video describing how the companions work from Wizards, I'd encourage you to take 30 seconds and go watch that. Yeah, this is also a 2-drop that Luris can get back. I could just put a couple Massacre Girls in there. That actually doesn't seem terrible. Let's do 2 Enforcers and 2 Massacre Girls, and then the plan will be, we'll probably just board this to non-functional against control, so we can have Agonizing Remorse. I think that's reasonable. I don't think we need to time people out asking about mechanics, but I'm probably going to stop telling people they're idiots and just ignore them at this point. That's probably what's going to happen, rather than continuing to say, hey, go read. Go read. See, reading's really important, Jacob. So we got to learn all our sight words. Go read, exactly. There are people in chat who have similar literacy levels to you. Y'all could have a competition. I don't want to lose to the 6-year-old. You better sharpen up then.
I can't move.
I mean, we're playing Tithe Taker in the main deck, the Dead Sea, so As always, current deck list can be found on the stream via the Stream Decker widget. I do keep that up to date as we make changes throughout the course of a stream. I think we keep this. Obviously, we're hoping to draw land, but even if we miss on the land, we can go like 1-drop, tapped land, 1-drop on 2. The current format that we are playing is available in the stream title. You can always see the deck list that we plan to play today, the order in which we plan to play them, and the format of those deck lists by looking at the stream title. Hey, Panda, thanks for the happy year. Welcome back. Hey, there's the 3rd land drop. You love to see it. We're going to go ahead and lead on Tithe Taker here. See what they do. Are we playing around a sweeper here? I feel like the answer is yes. Planeswalker fires, looks like. Glad we played around the sweeper there a little bit. Wow, Stream Decker's super messed up. I'm going to play Woe Strider. We'll wait to play this next turn until when we can immediately replay something. Yeah, the Stream Decker's wrong. I don't know how to fix it. There's just too much shit going on today. Sorry. I don't have time to debug live and also be importing stuff and things like that. So I'm just going to focus on playing. And you'll have to look stuff up. I guess the deck lists are just going to be wrong today. You'll have to rely on Twitter screenshots. I mean, ideally the tools should just work. Getting great. Thank you for the 2/3 of the year. Welcome back. Unfortunately, I don't maintain the tools. I'm not going to take the time to debug them live. Opponent only having 1 spell last turn seems potentially really good for us. Oh, you know what? What's it called is actually the missing card. Luris, the 3 Luris appear to be missing from Stream Decker. Is the card that's missing. Shark Typhoon. You cast a non-creature spell. You can XX Shark. You cycle this, do the thing. Okay, so they have nothing else going on, but they have a Sharknado. Your mom's red sauce. Thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. So let's go Luris into Night here. I'm probably going to sack whatever they bounce if they don't bounce Woe Strider.
Oh, I've done the hero thing.
These sharks have flying. This token is great. Just A+ absurd fantastic. Just crazy for in all the right ways. Well, the companion takes up a sideboard slot. I'm not sure why there's 16 cards on the board. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, I had it listed twice on the sideboard. Yeah, there's only one. That's why the sideboard is wrong. I pasted the line twice.
Now what?
The Teamer Godzilla deck was awesome. I think there's probably something there. Had some really good linear draws. How many monitors do I have? I have 3. The companions are great. The companions are great. Okay, oh, that's interesting. So it hides my cards that don't meet this requirement while that's in my deck. That's interesting. It's good to know that the interface handles it in that way. I was like, wait, where'd my sideboard go? That's where my sideboard went. So I think this is a Conquer's Death, Agonizing Remorse, Heliod's Intervention matchup. No, companions are public-facing information that you reveal at the start of the game. I need to cut 4 more cards here. What are my, or 6 more cards? God, that's a lot of trims. Am I becoming too interactive? Yeah, maybe it's just priests. What do you think of this? Let's try this. I'm gonna bottom that. I think we just want to try and hit our 4th land on curve. And do this in case they have a Teferi. 2 3s, eh?
Impossible.
Yes, correct, Jace. In the just put $0 and in the comments put what your username is. Yep.
Keep an open mind.
That's fine by Master Pie. It's all a manual process, so I'll sort it out.
Sorry I'm late.
Matchup seems hard, especially on the draw. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Teferi being relegated to higher power formats where he's less common because they're higher power. Tithe Taker is also fine in this matchup because it leaves behind an Afterlife token. All these cards just have their cost currently increased by 1. It's not confusing in the slightest. I think we take this, and then we just plan to, like, Heliod's Intervention them, right? Like, they're gonna go fires plus their other card next turn, and then we'll, like, intervention kill both of them. Or in 2 turns from now, sorry.
I am not going to sit this one out. No, I am not making this up as I go. Here we go.
So Whirlwind of Thought, whenever you cast a 9-creature spell, draw a card. Whirlwind seems great in fires. Maybe, I don't know. I'd be surprised if Planeswalker Fires is better than the Cavalier Fires builds that were good last season. Don't have anything for Luris to get back at the moment, unfortunately. I'm just gonna go ahead and pay this and get the counter on it now. For now, just push a bunch of damage. That's a beating. They're gonna get Teferi back next turn too. Okay, well, I guess I just do this, huh? Because Cat's not actually good. Cat isn't actually good at fueling Priests of the Forgotten Gods. Cat is good with Cruel Celebrant, you're right, but this deck's doing more than that. Cat also isn't particularly stellar with Mothra, which was the build-around goal of this deck. I think this matchup's probably terrible for us. Historically speaking, playing these Aristocrat-style decks, the Deafening Clarion decks tend to be the hardest thing for you. Alright, let's just make a token at least. Hey, Happy Man. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. Thanks for the 12 months. Welcome back. Shark Typhoon closes games out real quick.
Those who cannot perceive beyond the veil of reality are lost. I have just the trick for this.
Only Rowby, thanks for the 6 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. And that's, like we said, kind of the problem with the style of deck that we're playing is that our individual card power level is kind of low. Yeah, I don't know. This archetype feels kind of like a miss to me still. I don't really feel like Mothra really worked to solve any problems I had with the Black-White Aristocrats deck. Your individual card power level is still just really low. Mothra's a 4-mana card that doesn't impact the board really the turn it comes into play with an enter the battlefield effect. And in a world of Teferi's and Brazen Borrowers, it feels like cards that cost 4+ mana really need to do something when they come into play in order to really have an impact. Luris was kind of impressive. Like, this card's ability to let us recover post-sweeper was really nice. Being able to, like, play this out and get value with these. This card can get value pre-sweeper with Priest of the Forgotten God, sacrificing your other things as well. Overall, the Aristocrats archetype, though, feels like kind of a miss to me. I don't really know if there's things that you could do with this style of build. I feel like if there's a reason why Red-Black Aristocrats last season was the premier sacrifice deck. It was a deck that was looking to apply a lot of pressure and be aggressive, whereas like this more like mid-rangey value build, this archetype isn't really good at that because our individual card power level just tends to be so low. Do companions? I mean, I literally have a companion right here, and we've played with companions for other matches, so yeah. Alright, what are we doing? So, I've got a bunch of decks coming up yet today. We are going to kick the tires on some Jeskai Improbable Alliance up next. I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get everything flipped over and get that deck loaded up into my deck editor. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. Can you change your companion during side